New Year's Eve. A night filled with hope, celebration, and promises of a better year ahead. But for one Ohio college student, the holiday became a chilling encounter with the unknown. This isn't just a tale of bad luck or an eerie coincidence, it's a story of survival, mystery, and unshakable fear. What began as a routine drive through the Ohio countryside with his loyal golden retriever Vera turned into a nightmare. Something, or someone, was waiting in the dark woods that night, and it wasn't planning to let them leave unscathed. Stay with me as we unravel the details of this horrifying experience that will have you questioning every lonely road you've ever driven down. The protagonist of our story, a college student returning home after a tough semester, was already in a sour mood. Staying back on campus during Christmas meant missing the holiday with family and friends, a tough pill to swallow. To make matters worse, he had to endure the ultimate heartbreak as a Cleveland Browns fan. That fateful year, 2017, marked their infamous 0-16 season, making them only the second team in NFL history to achieve such a humiliating record. The loss on Christmas Eve was the final nail in the coffin. If that wasn't enough, his flight home for New Year's Eve was delayed, derailing his family's plans. Instead of traveling together to a cousin's party, his parents left without him, and he was left to make the drive alone. The only silver lining? Vera, the family's golden retriever, stayed behind to keep him company. Little did he know, she would play a crucial role in his survival that night. The Ohio countryside, beauty or beast? Ohio's countryside, with its sprawling farmland and patches of dense forest, is the kind of place that can feel tranquil during the day, but transforms into something entirely different at night. The long stretches of empty roads, the faint glow of distant farmhouses, and the oppressive silence create an atmosphere that's equal parts peaceful and unnerving. For someone driving alone, especially in a somber mood, the isolation can feel like a weight pressing down on your chest. The darkness seems to close in, and every sound becomes amplified. The crunch of snow under the tires, the hum of the car engine, mundane noises take on an eerie quality. Halfway through the drive, Vera began to act strangely. She whined and shifted restlessly in the passenger seat. At first he dismissed it, thinking she was just bored, but soon she began pacing, an unusual behavior for the otherwise calm dog. It was then he realized she needed to relieve herself. He pulled over at the first clearing he saw. The spot was unremarkable, just a small patch of open ground surrounded by dark trees. But as he stepped out of the car, he couldn't shake the feeling that something was off. The silence was suffocating. Not the peaceful kind of silence, but the kind that makes you hyper-aware of every sound, every movement. Even Vera seemed uneasy, sniffing the air and hesitating near the edge of the woods. As Vera wandered a few feet into the trees, a sudden loud crashing sound shattered the silence. It wasn't a twig snapping or a small animal scurrying. It was heavy, deliberate, like someone stomping through the forest. Imagine hearing that sound in the middle of nowhere with no one else around. His heart raced as he instinctively scanned the darkness, but the trees were too dense, and his car's headlights barely pierced the shadows. Then, without warning, Vera bolted into the woods. The loyal companion who had always stuck by his side disappeared into the darkness, chasing whatever had made the noise. In that moment he had a choice. Stay in the relative safety of the car or venture into the woods after Vera. For him, the decision was clear. He couldn't abandon her. Grabbing his phone for its weak flashlight, he plunged into the forest, calling her name. The woods were disorienting. The flashlight barely illuminated the ground in front of him, and the thin layer of snow reflected just enough light to prevent complete blindness. Every step felt like it brought him deeper into a labyrinth of towering trees and oppressive darkness. He yelled for Vera until his voice was hoarse, but the only response was the echo of his own voice. After what felt like an eternity, he spotted her. Vera was crouched low to the ground, her body trembling, her tail tucked tightly between her legs. Relief flooded through him as he dropped to his knees, wrapping his arms around her. But something wasn't right. Vera, usually a bold and curious dog, was terrified. Her body shook against his, and she kept glancing behind him, as if she could see something he couldn't. The crashing noise followed them, growing louder and more erratic. It wasn't just following them, it was chasing them. Whatever was out there wasn't trying to hide anymore. He ran until his lungs burned from the cold air, his legs threatening to give out. And then, as if by some miracle, the car appeared in the distance. 3 figures stood there, motionless. They were barely visible in the faint light, but their presence was undeniable. Who were they? Were they human, or something else entirely? He didn't wait to find out. The car roared to life, and he floored it, speeding away without looking back. It wasn't until he'd driven several miles that he noticed Vera was bleeding. A deep gash below her shoulder blade sent him into a panic. Someone, or something, had attacked her. Pulling over, he grabbed the first aid kit from the trunk and did his best to clean and bandage the wound. Vera whimpered but stayed still, her trust in him unwavering. The rest of the drive was a blur. The shock of what had happened left him numb, unable to process the events. To this day, the details of that night remain a mystery. Who were the figures in the woods? Why were they there? And what had they intended to do? He never reported the incident or told his family. Maybe it was fear, or maybe it was the feeling that some things are better left unsaid. What would you do? Imagine yourself in his shoes. Would you have gone after Vera or stayed in the car, hoping she'd find her way back? And what do you think those figures were? Share your thoughts in the comments below. If this story gave you chills, don't forget to like this video and subscribe to our channel for more spine-tingling tales. Turn on notifications so you never miss a story that will keep you up at night. Stay safe, stay curious, and remember, the scariest stories are often the ones that are true.